Hey everybody, Hollywoodpizza here, and we're going to be playing some Mono Black today. That's right, Mono Black Midrange, aggro. However you put it, this deck's been around in Standard for a while, considering that there's a lot of powerful black cards, especially Invoke Despair. The newest addition to the deck is going to be Shieldred's Edict, which essentially is just a really powerful sacrifice effect at instant speed, really good against those poison decks. And we also have Phyrexian Obliterator, one of my favorite cards of all time. That makes our opponent kind of just sacrifice some permanents if the Obliterator ends up takes some damage, either through combat or maybe through some spells. Rounding out the deck, we have tons of removal with the cut downs, Go for the Throats, Infernal Grasp. Our creatures, we have some Evolved Sleepers, Tenacious Underdogs, Flesh Gorgers, Shieldreds, Gix, main deck Trespassers, and the Bank Buster, which is just a phenomenal card to help you grind through the mid to late game. Special lands, just a couple Mishra's Foundries and Attack Enuma. For sideboard, we have 3 Duresses, couple Unlicensed Hearths, the extra Bank Buster, 2 extra Trespassers as well for some more Graveyard Hate besides the Hearths, 2 March of Wretched Sorrow for the aggressive matchups, a couple Soul Transfers for Planeswalker decks. Also, we can grind out with this card by getting some creatures back from the graveyard, exiling any problematic creature that our opponent could have, or maybe even doing both if we have an enchantment and an artifact out as well. We have an extra Shieldred and an extra Flesh Gorger for any kind of, aggressive needs that we may run into. Overall, the deck was really powerful still. Really easy to rank up in all honesty. Just a really smooth mana base, and you just have a really smooth curve. And those fundamentals of Magic definitely help a ton in ranking up and even in tournaments. I mean, we've definitely seen this deck top 8 our tournaments before, and I expect it to still continue being a strong force in the meta. So let's go ahead and see how we do. Playing some Mono Black here, gonna be on the play to start this game. And I like our hand. We have an interaction spell, some good 3-drops. 1 land away from a Shieldred. Trespasser has value. I think I like where this game's going. We hit another land, so let's just pass. Looks like we're up against potentially a similar deck. Okay, and it looks like our opponent has a different type of game plan. I think I like playing the Gix here, just because Gix draws us a card. So we'll want to make sure that we do that. At least do that first. Luckily the Might can't block, so they have to either make a blocker or interact with the Gix here. Okay. They do make a blocker, but it's not a great one. And I think we'll play our Foundry. Yeah, let's get the... I guess we could cut down. Let's see what our opponent does. A free block is a free block. I don't mind that, and then we can just play the Shieldred. So now we have 2 potent threats that our opponent has to deal with. We could kill the fresh token with the cut down and deal our opponent even more damage. And draw more cards. So let's see what our opponent's up to here. Okay, Requisitioner's fine. Looks like we're playing the value deck that we actually have on the channel. So definitely check that out. Don't think we can attack with the Gix. If we kill the token, still not able to. I guess we can kill the Requisitioner. Yeah, let's do that. And then let's attack with both. And it looks like our opponent's just going to chump block the Shieldred. And we still get in there for 3. We'll draw a card. And let's play the Trespasser just because it's a real threat. Get rid of the Requisitioner. And pass it back. So now the opponent's at 8. Our board presence is pretty potent. And we'll see if they have the board wipe. Okay, just a Mondric. So they get 2 tokens. And this flips over. We get to gain some life. They do have the mana to make Mondric indestructible. So no real good attacks yet. Play the Bank Buster. And if they decide to use the ability, we can draw in response and try to hit a removal spell. So we'll just pass it back. Right now our Shieldred's putting in the work, so don't mind it. We also have a Gix that we'll be able to use next turn potentially. So opponent's going to go down to 4 here. We get to go up to 28 thanks to the redraw. And if they try to draw any extra cards, they're going to take some damage as well from the Shieldred. So I think right now they're mostly just contemplating maybe just adding more to the board. Could die to poison as well. They have a lot of poison attackers. Okay. So there's an Ob Nixilis. Luckily we have some lands to discard though. So even if they uptick on both, yep. Discard the swamp. And we'll discard the swamp again. And we still have the Reckoner Bank Buster to use here. Opponent's at 4. It could have made a double and gained some life. It might do that next turn. So we really got to seal this game pretty quick here. Really looking for... Okay. Wouldn't mind an Invoke, but Invoke's not going to make them lose life because they have a lot of permanents down. Yeah, no good attacks still. Let's draw. So we draw Swamp, not ideal. Okay, Obliterator's pretty good. Makes it so that it's really hard for them to attack us. Let's see, do we have a creature in the graveyard? No creatures in the graveyard. Could swing. Let's see. No, let's pass it back. I was thinking we could swing with one of our creatures, have it die, and then use a Graveyard Trespasser, but it's not going to happen. Do they have a removal spell for the Shieldred? And they don't. They end up losing to their own hive here. And let's see, so we're up against a token type strategy. The mid-range deck that we know about. Let's see, I think we want another Shieldred. Just because it helps grind the game. Don't mind these soul transfers. March is pretty decent. The underdog gets a lot worse here. Especially considering it's a token deck. We can cut a sleeper down as well. Edict is okay. It's not the craziest, but we could also say, you know, sacrifice a non-token creature and then they can get rid of their Mondrax, so I don't mind it. I think we can also cut a Gix. Let's bring in both of these marches. Maybe we cut an Edict for a Bank Buster. Just to give us a little bit more of that reach. Don't mind it. I don't know if we're favored in this matchup. This is where running cards like the Miasma and things like that could end up being helpful. I think we keep this. We got a couple early pieces of interaction and just one land away from being able to play one of our powerful 4-drops here. One of them has Trample. And the Shieldred is just like a win condition pretty much by itself. Okay, Invoke Despair is nice, but you'll really want to hit some lands here. Okay, there's a Hive. And we do draw the land, which is nice, so let's pass it back. Okay, Blood Tithe Harvester. I think we'll kill that. We get to draw. Okay, just another 4-drop. Can't kill the Mites just because they're artifact creatures. Looks like our opponent's just gonna discard another Blood Tithe Harvester. Okay, they do hit a land. I think that's what they were missing there. And I'll play the Obliterator first, just because it's a hard to deal with threat. they want to attack into us, they have to sacrifice a permanent. And so far, no removal. They go down to 16. If we hit a land. Okay, we don't hit a land. No good attacks. Let's play the Shieldred. Seeing as how they didn't have a removal for the Obliterator, I feel like it's going to be a lot harder for them to deal with the Shieldred, and we'll just pass. Okay, gonna make Might. Got a lot of blockers though. They'll lose some life here. Go down to 13. And our opponent's pretty close to dead, but so are we because of the poison. So we gotta be really careful here with how we play our turn out. I think we're just gonna go for the Invoke. It'll get rid of the Hive, get rid of one of their tokens. Deal them 2, we gain 2. And I don't think we want to come in. I get a hunch there's a Wandering Emperor here. Yep, there it is. They make a Samurai, but not really a big deal right now. We're kind of just killing them with the Shieldred. Definitely tell how powerful this card still is. Okay, there's an Ob Nixilis, that's fine. I think we'll just take the 2 damage and take another 2 damage here. No reason to get rid of any of our cards. I really like all of them. Make another Samurai. We have these go for the throats. So we might just be able to kill our opponent here. Cut down's nice. So I think we can go for the throat here. We'll go for the throat, the other Samurai. And we'll attack our opponent for 9. Dealing the last points of damage. We'll see you for the next match. Playing some more Mono Black here on the play. I think we can keep this. This isn't that powerful, but yeah, we got lands, we got spells. I think we're definitely going to try it out. Let's get the sleeper down, pass the turn back. So relying a little bit on the sleeper to definitely get us pretty far in the game, but we may be up against Mono Blue here. We'll see if they have a bounce spell. Okay, no bounce spell yet. Still get a feeling that they have Fading Hope here. They're definitely highlighting the sleeper. We'll see if they have it. Okay, consider. So that's still fine. Still a card that does something. And looks like they are playing Mono Blue. Let's get this Mishra's down. Let's attack. Coming in for 2. We'll play the underdog. And we'll pass it back. Okay, there's an Essence Scatter. We're pretty fine with that. Definitely a card that we don't mind getting countered. Okay. And we'll just keep trying to get the underdog back out of the graveyard. The sleeper's putting in some work as a 1-drop. And let's see what they have here. Alright, looks like they just have a Make Disappear. That's fine. If they're spending their cards on a card that we're getting back every turn, it's not a big deal. They have a lot of cards left, so could just end up being Flesh Gorger plus this Go for the Throat. Yeah, I'm gonna try to just cast this Flesh Gorger here. Keep coming in with a sleeper. And eventually when they play one of their cards, we'll try to kill it, and if they tap out, we have a Shieldred or an Obliterator, which is gonna be really difficult for them to remove. Okay, so there's a counter spell. And I think we just attack. We may just want to pump this. This could make them be more reactionary. We'll see. Okay, they just take the 3, go down to 11, so 4-turn clock here with the sleeper. So our opponent definitely has to do something. The sleeper is also going to be a hard creature for them to block, considering it has Death Touch, so them just having Jin doesn't really make a difference. And we'll see what our opponent does here. Okay, another land drop. And we'll see what they do. They got a lot of cards left in hand, but some of them could just be counter spells. And, you know, Sleeper definitely gets under there. Yep, there's a Djinn. So, I think we actually just try to do this first here. See what they do. Might just have the counter spell. Okay, slip out the back. That's fine. So we can actually come in with a Sleeper here. Get them down to 8. Play a second Sleeper. And, yep. Let's go ahead and just pump that now. And then we also have Tenacious Underdog out of the graveyard, which is nice. To at least represent lethal next turn. Okay, they're just going to use the Blast Zone. Alright. Well, didn't know about the Blast Zone coming down, so a bit unfortunate there, but you know, not really much we can do about that. That's 12 damage there. I think we just play Obliterator and pass. That way they can't really attack with the Terra unless they have a bounce spell. If they do, then we're definitely in a hurt of trouble here. Okay. See what they do. Right now this Obliterator is definitely holding them at bay. At least that we know about. Gonna have to take the 7 here though. So let's see. Even if we make Underdog, okay, there's another Terror, so definitely in some trouble here. Cut down, not gonna do it. Let's see. That's not gonna be enough. If we Underdog, yeah, fortunately, looks like our opponent got us with the Djinn. So a bit problematic. We got in there as much as we could with our Evolved Sleepers, but unfortunately the opponent was able to kill us there. I think we can cut one of these Obliterators. Underdog is fine though, it's an early threat. Maybe Flesh Gorger's the worst card here. Yeah, I mean Flesh Gorger's just okay. Could keep the Underdog just because it's an early play. Earlier play than the Flesh Gorger. Edict's okay. Could bring in the Shadow over the Trespasser. Or we just cut the other Obliterator and go lower on the curve. Could have also brought in the Hearse, I guess, just because of the Djinn, so we'll see if it ends up biting us here. If we get to game 3, we're going to want to bring them in. Alright, this is a great hand. Sleeper plus Duress is fantastic, and then a Graveyard Trespasser to follow it up with. So Trespasser is definitely going to do some work here, getting rid of some cards in the graveyard. And we'll go on Duress now. And they just have, let's see, target artifact, creature spell. Yeah, I mean, they kind of just have a lot of redundancy here with all their cards, so. Fortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to be resolving a creature anytime soon. And let's go for the Sleeper rather than the Graveyard Trespasser. That way we just get rid of the cards that we know about, and we can pump up the Sleeper. If they let those resolve, it's going to be big problem for them just because we'll have 2 threats. Alright, so there's a Scatter Ray. That's fine. Let's pump this up. And we'll come in for 3. Pass it back. Alright, so we have a Trespasser that's going to get countered, and then we have the Shieldred next turn, or hoping to get this Invoke Despair off. Okay, there's the Essence Scatter that we know about. So let's come in for 3. We'll get our opponent to 12. Get them back on a 4-turn clock here. And they have a lot of cards in their hand. We'll go ahead and try to smash with the Sleeper. See if they have an answer for us here. No answer yet. Try to play the Shieldred. More than likely they have a counterspell for us here, but Sleeper's still getting in there. Was pretty nice, so still a 3-turn clock here for our opponent. They don't have a counterspell, it's going to be really hard for them to get out of this. They might use the Otawara on the Shieldred, which is fine. You know, we really want to use this Invoke Despair to try to finish the game off. Okay, Urza's rebuff. Yep. So we're just going to counter it. We get to keep our Sleeper out. Okay, there's a Djinn. and 2 mana. So we know that they have 1 card. We're going to try to attack first and see what they do. If they tap out, then we can use this Invoke Despair, which is going to be phenomenal. If not, they go down to 6 and they're on a 2-turn clock. Okay, so it looks like they're just going to take it. And I think we're just going to go for the Invoke here. They have 1 card left. Wow, they actually didn't have it. Alright, we draw another Invoke, so let's go ahead and pass the turn back to them. They're at 2 life here. Okay, Impulse. And we'll see what they do. Okay, opponent digging. Still have the Otawara, but you know, we have an Invoke Despair, so we have the kill either way with one of these. And next game, we're going to be on the draw, so we still want to get our sleepers down. It's definitely been the key to our success here so far. 1 card for the opponent, and it looks like they're just going to tap out now. And we can just cast this Invoke and kill them. We just draw a lot of swamps, so luckily we got them in that game. Alright, and I don't really think we need to make too many changes. Wretch is fine. We could play the hearse over the underdogs, or maybe even the Gix. Yeah, that's fine. Let's bring in the Trespassers because they do work. And let's see, we could cut the underdogs, but then that kind of doesn't really leave us much of a way to win. Yeah, let's try something like this. We're going to be on the draw, so I think it's okay. You know, Hearse just does so much work, especially if we're able to resolve it. And we're definitely looking for an aggressive start yet again with the sleepers to get under their counter magic. And then maybe like a Hearse or something like that on turn 2. And let's go and see what our opponent does here. I think we'll keep this. We're a little bit mana short, but you know, we've got some 2-drops. We got removal spells for the Djinn if it comes down to that. So let's try to get this Shadow down. We do know that they probably just have a counter spell here. More than likely. If not, then they have an Impulse looking for some draw. Okay, so they do have the Essence Scatter there. And we need 1 more mana for this Shieldred, or else we're definitely in a little bit of some trouble here. And Foundry's pretty good. Let's go get the Shadow down. It's really great just because it's the 4th land for the Shieldred. And Shadow actually resolves, which is pretty surprising. Okay, Thirst. So it looks like our opponent's digging for some cards. We have multiple removal spells if they try to go for like a Djinn. I think we're just going to take it easy, start attacking for 2, chipping away at their life total, and kind of just playing around some counter spells. So let's pass it back. They need to get some threats down on the battlefield in order to start beating us, so you know, us having triple removal spell really helps with that. Okay, looks like they're gonna try to bounce it. That's fine. Yeah, not really much there. Don't have a creature anymore, so they might just counter on the way back down. We have Shieldred. Yep, gonna try the Shadow. I mean, if they have a counter spell, they're just running out of cards here. And if they try to go for like any creature, we have a lot of instant speed removal, so we'll be able to do that on their turn. There's an Impulse. We're really looking to hit a land because then we can go removal spell plus Shieldred, and Shieldred is just going to be huge. Especially if we can land it on the battlefield. And it looks like they have a Consider here, yep. So the opponent's definitely turning through their deck looking for potentially like a threat to try to end the game here in a timely manner. Okay, still no threat. We do hit the land. Alright, let's make the Foundry a creature. Come in for 2. And pass turn back. Still have tons of removal here if they decide on getting a Djinn, but for now I don't mind just coming in with this creature land and dealing our opponent 2 damage here, 2 damage there. If they have a bounce spell, we can just replay it, so not a big deal. Can't Otawara because I believe Otawara is non-land permanent artifact creature. Okay, so yeah, they can still bounce it. Okay, and they get a Terror down, which is fine. And we'll try to Shieldred's Edict here. They might have a counterspell. Lots of cards in hand. And let's see if they want to fight over this. If they do, that's fine. Okay, there's a Make Disappear. And we'll try to do it again. See what they do. 2 cards left for our opponent here. Maybe they just have a slip out the back. If they do, we'll probably just try to go for Shieldred. And then the Invoke Despair. We would be taking a lot of damage though, which is a bit unfortunate, but I think it's worth it. We might also just try to Invoke, or excuse me, Infernal Grasp here to try to get all their counter spells out, and then the Invoke gets even better on the following turn. So let's see what they have here. And they're definitely going to the tank. Okay, slip out the back. Let's see, it's Ward 2. That's fine, actually. We can let that happen. Let's try to cast Shieldred. Alright, Shieldred resolves. So if they have draw, they will lose a lot of life here. So they can't just thirst for discovery. If they had it, they would have had to have done it. In response, Shieldred's going to deal them 2, get them down to 12. Okay, they're going to take the Shieldred. So that's definitely bad for us here. They have 2 mana open. We're going to try to Infernal Grasp here. So let's see if they have a counterspell to save the Shieldred that they took. If not, we have Invoke Despair. And, okay, no counterspell yet. 4, 5, so they could have... There's a chance they have Make Disappear. I think we'll just go for this. Could be wrong here. Okay, they just have a Fading Hope. Well, they're going to take a lot of damage, and we have a Hearse. That's going to be pretty decent here. Okay, we hit another Invoke, so let's just do that. See if they have a counterspell this time. If not, then this is going to get them down to 2. We'll play Shieldred. And we'll see if Shieldred's going to be enough to kill them. Okay, they just have an Essence Scatter. That's fine. We'll pass it back. Might have wanted to come in with the creature land here. We'll activate it. And try to come in for lethal. Do they have a bounce spell? And looks like they have a Fading Hope. Okay. So we'll replay the Foundry, we'll get the Unlicensed Hearse down, and we'll pass it back. So the opponent's still looking for an answer here. We have a creature land that can attack, and that's going to do it. We'll go ahead and walk right into Diamond.
This video is brought to you by MagicJank.com, the spiciest cards for your sauciest decks. Buy and sell Magic the Gathering products and gear today on MagicJank.com.
Looking for the latest comic book to add to your collection? How about the last card for that Magic the Gathering Commander deck? Well, the comic book store's got you covered. Shop online at comicbookstore.tcgplayerpro.com or come in person at 30 North Main Street, Glassboro, New Jersey. Pizza people, are you enjoying the content? Don't forget, subscribe to the channel. It's free. Hit that bell icon as well. That way, anytime any of our new content comes out, you're able to see it right away. Hey, leave a comment down below as well. Tell us what you're going to play in the next event, or tell us what you're enjoying about the video. Don't forget, check out the description too. We've got tons of great content down below. And on top of that, we're going to have our tournament schedule too. So get in on it. Hope to see you. Playing some more Mono Black here, going to be on the draw. And I think this is a pretty keepable hand. We have a Bank Buster to help us kind of bridge the gap if we need to. Cut down's nice. It looks like we may be up against a mirror match, maybe. Expecting like an underdog here. Okay, Bank Buster's pretty good. And we'll get our own Bank Buster down. Really looking to draw land here. Okay, we do, luckily. So I think we just pass. Seeing as how it's mirror match, both of us are just going to have tons of removal. And these Bank Busters make sure that we both have a lot of cards as well. Alright, there's a sleeper. And we'll go ahead and draw here off of the Bank Buster. I'm actually going to try to cut down. If they spend all their mana, we have an Edict. Wow, they actually didn't go for it. That's kind of interesting. So they have 3 mana. It's more than likely that they do have a removal spell here. I think we're just going to go for Bank Busters on both of our ends here. Okay, they're going to draw. That's fine. We just have answers, so if they want to play some creatures, it's okay. We have plenty of ways to deal with them. Yep. There's a Tenacious Underdog. And we'll go ahead and we'll make them sack it. Get a redraw for our Bank Buster. Kind of in the same position that the opponent's in, where we're both getting really close to getting our Bank Busters off. Okay, gonna redraw, so we had to go for the throat. That's not fantastic. We'll actually get our own Tenacious Underdog down, which is pretty funny. That definitely a little bit of a mirror here. Let's pass it back. We have the Infernal Grasp, we have the Shieldred's Edict. Either one of those is going to help. And if they want to activate their Bank Buster, we have Infernal Grasp, Shieldred's Edict, all these cards that deal with it. So don't mind it. And we'll make them sack a non-token creature, so they'll get rid of this Bank Buster. Even though we're not activating ours, it's still okay. Looks like they might just pass here. We're looking to hit a land, just because it gets us closer to like Invoke or Trespasser plus removal. Yep, there's a Shieldred. We'll go ahead and go for the throat that. And let's see here. So let's draw. Okay, no second land. We just come in with the underdog. And we could draw off the Bank Buster. I think it's okay to do it at instant speed. Like, yeah, we're looking for our 5th land, but at the same time, we should be okay. So let's see what they got for us here. Okay, Invoke Despair. So we draw off the Bank Buster. We get a token. So we'll sacrifice the token. Take a little bit of some damage. They're at 17. They have a lot of cards in hand though. Could have a removal spell here. But I think we're okay. We're going to have Underdog plus Trespasser, which is nice. Okay, they just have Flesh Gorger. It's pretty good. I think the attack there was really aggressive, though. So let's go ahead and blow this up. We'll have to pay life for it, but that's okay. So that's dead. We'll play Shieldred, just because it's going to be the best threat here to deal additional points of damage. We'll activate the Bank Buster. And we'll attack for 7, get our opponent down to 9. Let's pass it back. See what they do here. Okay, they have a go for the throat for the Shieldred, so no life loss there. And let's see what they have in response. So far, not doing anything. Okay, the Infernal Grasp on the Underdog is fine. And there's a Trespasser, so the Underdog's going to go away, unfortunately. If they attack with the 1/1, we get to attack with our Bankbuster, which will be fantastic. Okay, they have a Sleeper. That's fine. We still have... Shieldred's pretty good. I think we want to go for 2 creatures here, though. So let's get rid of their Shieldred. We'll play an Underdog. Crew up the Bankbuster with the Trespasser. And we'll come in for 4, see if our opponent trades. Okay, they just take the damage. We're pretty happy about that. We have a pretty good board. Kind of about the same, honestly, with our opponent, but our opponent being at 4 is really good. They want an Underdog. Okay, so we have to sacrifice a non-token creature. We'll sacrifice a Trespasser. That way we can still keep the Underdog back to block with. Okay, there's a Shieldred from our opponent. And we'll see how they decide they want to attack. They're going to pump up there. If they attack out, we just trade with the Trespasser. I think we still trade here because their Sleeper is just a really good card. Okay. So we go down to 7. We have our own Shieldred. And we also have a Sleeper. So our Shieldreds are just going to bounce off of each other here. Opponent's going to stay at 4. And we still have a way to protect ourselves if they want to invoke. Invoke's not going to be great here. They kind of just lose the game if they do that. We have an Obliterator, Trespasser in our hand. And our opponent's going to pack it up. So we'll move on to game 2 here. We're in the mirror match. I think Duress is okay. Like, a well-timed Duress really could win the game, especially against Invoke. We're on the draw, so don't mind getting both of those in. I think Obliterator's still fine. We can cut Gix. I think Underdog is a little bit underwhelming here, especially considering that they have their own Trespassers. And we can cut a Sleeper, maybe a Cut Down, or go for the throat. I guess that's still fine. Obliterator is a card that they have to deal with as well. Flesh Gorger, I just think Flesh Gorger is okay here. Well, I either want the other Duress or the March, or maybe we just bring back one of our other cards back in. Yeah, let's play, let's see, we want the 4th Shieldred. And let's play another Trespasser. I think I like this more. Flesh Gorger is good, but I just think sometimes Flesh Gorger is very mid and doesn't really do enough. Alright, we're on the draw. We got a mulligan. That hand's not very good. This hand's a lot better. We could put back the Gix. You know, Shieldred's a lot more powerful, and even though Gix is a decent play on curve, I think I like having all of our other cheaper cards instead with the Shieldred. And it looks like they have a cut down this time for our Sleeper. They'll pump theirs up. And come in for 2. If we go for the throat, it seems okay. They might just have a 3-drop here, but we have a Shadow to block it. Like, let's say they have the Trespasser, then we can play Shadow, pump it up, block, that's fine. Okay, they just have Gix, so either way they still have a card that's similar. Let's get the Shadow down. Pass it back. We have Shieldred next turn. Pretty high chance they have a removal spell here for us, though. Yep, there's the Infernal Grasp. And they get the draw. They go down to 17. And all we really have is the Shieldred, so let's just get it down. And unfortunately, it looks like they do have the removal, so we kind of just ran out of cards here. The mulligan hurt a little bit, but in reality, I mean, it gets offset by us being on the draw. Okay, so we're going to take 3, go down to 12. They'll go down to 14 off this draw. All we really have right now is a Bankbuster, looking for an Invoke. Okay, they have a knight, so it's going to be tough even if we hit the invoke here. Okay, Bank Buster. Let's see if we hit a cut down really quickly to get rid of this knight. No cut down, just drawing swamps. So, fortunately, looks like we're taking a beating here from our opponent. And yep, gonna come in for 5 on us here. We'll go down to 7. They draw 2 more cards. Okay, there's a Shieldred. We go down to 5. Okay, we do have the go for the throat. So let's kill the Shieldred. We'll draw off the Bank Buster, still hoping to hit this cut down. And unfortunately, we just drew a lot of swamps there. Alright, let's go move on to game 3. I still don't think we need to do much. Maybe we can bring in the Bank Buster, another one. I think that's okay. Or we cut. Yeah, 1 duress is fine. Just to catch him with the invoke, maybe. We're going to be on the play, so let's try to get some beatdown going on our end here. Beatdown plus removal. Going to be on the play. Yep. This hand's fantastic. We have the sleeper into the Bank Buster. If we draw a land, we have the Trespasser. 2 lands later after that, we'll have an invoke. Okay, so they have their own sleeper. I think we'll just go for the throat here. Attack our opponent for 1, pass it back. Looking for a land here off the top to play this Trespasser would be nice. Okay, they have a Bank Buster. We do hit the land, which is phenomenal. So let's go ahead and get this Graveyard Trespasser down. Get rid of their sleeper. Come in for that extra point as well. And we need 2 more lands, and we have double invoke to spare, which is going to be really hard for our opponent to come back from. And we'll see if they have their own Graveyard Trespasser here. Okay, yep, they do. So we need potentially a land drop, wouldn't be bad. Okay, they're going to crew and they're going to come in. We're okay with that. That's a really aggressive play. Fortunately, no land on our side. But we'll get to come in for 5. Deal our opponent some damage. Get them down to 12. Looking for a land. We'll have this Obliterator. Okay, Shieldred's fine. It's a bit annoying, but you can definitely still deal with it. And it looks like they're going to crew with the Trespasser, which is interesting. They could have hit us for 7 there. But they chose not to, so let's draw. We hit another invoke. Definitely a bit unfortunate here. And we can come in with the sleeper. Just because we can give it Death Touch. We'll try to draw. This will put us down to 9, unfortunately. Okay, we're not hitting the land that we need, so let's pass it back. Our Glutton does go up to a 4/4, though. So does theirs, so we could probably trade here unless they have a removal. Okay, cut down, that's fine. Not really much we could do about that. And a Gix is pretty good here. If they attack, we have to block. Gonna crew. So yeah, even if we block, we still end up losing here. So a bit of a tight match. You know, the mirror match is always going to be close. Yep, we'll go ahead and just block here and essentially take lethal. So, like I said, you know, mirror match is always going to go either way. So I had a ton of fun playing this deck. Don't forget to catch me on Twitch 3 days a week. You can find the links to my content and the links to all the tournaments we host every month down below. Stay cheesy.